Right.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وعلى من تبع هداهم إلى يوم الدين. Today is now the 5th of Al-Muharram 1445, which corresponds with the 23rd of July 2023. We are studying the 40 hadiths of Imam An-Nawawi. May Allah have mercy upon him. And this is now the 18th class, and we have reached hadith number 33. On the authority of Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, and his father, that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, were people to be given everything that they claimed, men would unjustly claim the wealth and lives of other people. But the onus of proof is upon the claimant, and the taking of an oath is upon him who denies.
بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. First of all, I do apologize for the very late start. We will continue inshallah after the Maghrib. So once the Maghrib comes in, and I think maybe it's in about 15 minutes or so, we will break for Maghrib and then we'll continue. And remember, there will be no classes for the next 2 classes. That's 4 weeks. And I believe the class will resume according to this calendar onto the 3rd of September. Correct? No, 3rd of September. طيب. This hadith, a great hadith, as Sheikh Sa'di rahimahullah, he says, and it is one of the hadith that considered to be the foundation for the qada, for the making the rules and the judgment. And by the way, this is what we call it, wireless. Wireless, you don't depend upon it. It's going to break up. I know, breaking up. So inshallah, next time we'll have the wired, inshallah. The qada, the ruling between the people, is when there is a dispute. So each person claims that this is his and this is mine. And another person will say, no, it's not yours. It's not his, it's so-and-so. So each person, he will make a claim. And each person will say that I did not take this from you. So in case if there is a dispute between 2 parties, the Sharia came to say that the person who claims, he is the one first to start producing his evidence. He's got proof. Has he got witnesses? Has he got a document? Has he got a recording that is to be recorded, saying that this person from him, he's saying that this is so-and-so? If he has produced the evidence, there's no way for the other party to deny, or has the option to deny, or to make an oath that these 2 witnesses are liars. That's it. So the first is from the person who claims. If he produces an evidence, that's enough to establish his case. But in the case of this person who is the plaintiff, and he is claiming that such and such is the way that he says, whether it is to belong to him or to somebody else, and he did not produce an evidence, and he will not get what he is asking for unless the other person does not make an oath to say on the contrary. So let's say this person who claims that this mobile, which is in the hand of the person who is the defendant, that this mobile is belonging to that person who's claimed it's for him. He can't provide a proof. He has got no choice to say that I want to make an oath that this mobile belongs to me. No. He's got the choice to bring what? Evidence. He brought an evidence, the case is his. And if he did not bring an evidence, then he will not get this mobile unless that person denies or refuses to make an oath to say, by Allah, this is not yours. Is that understood? So if he refuses to make the oath, then the judge will, well, he did not make an oath. You're making the claim, it's yours. But if he made the oath that it is the other way, on the contrary of what this person is claiming, then the judge will go with the oath. But first is the person who claims. If he's got evidence, no oath. If he's got no evidence, there is no oath also for the person who claims to say, well, I'm making an oath, this is mine. This is the way it's been done. No, it is upon that person to make an oath that is on the contrary. If he did not make an oath, then the judge will rule in the favor who is the claimant. Is that understood, everybody? That's called al-bayyinatu ala man idda'a wal-hilfanu ala man ankar. The person who is considered to be a witness in the Sharia, he has to be a person, number one, baligh, meaning an adult. Child is not accepted. Number two, he has to be a person who's sane, insane, even if it's partial insanity, meaning that sometimes he's sound-minded and sometimes he's not. Then his shahada, testimony, will not be accepted. Thirdly, Islam. If he's not a Muslim, again, his testimony will not be accepted. Fourthly, and that is adala. Adala means a person who is doing what Allah commanded him to do, at least the 5 daily prayers. So if he's known to be a liar, or to be, for example, a forging person, or a person who is a criminal, then his shahada testimony will not have any weight. And as for the crimes, if it is to do with fornication, zina, that somebody says that this woman had fornicated, then the testimony is from the men alone. So it's male witnesses, no female accepted. And they have to testify, as we have discussed this long time ago, that the mirwad fil mikhala, meaning the rod is in the rod container, meaning he has to witness the actual thing into the actual thing. 4 male witnesses. Otherwise, if they bring less than that, those who are less, whether they're 3 or 2 or 1, will be lashed, except if it's a husband against his wife or a wife against her husband. Well, the Sharia gave a path or a way through this. It's called al-li'an, al-mula'ana. He himself will testify. 4 testimonies. It's like there's 4 witnesses. And the 5th one, that the curse of Allah is upon him if he's a liar. And for her to take the punishment away from her, which is stoning to death, is to testify 4 testimonies that it is not true. And the 5th one, that the anger of Allah is upon her if she's a liar. Okay? So this is called al-li'an. If this takes place, separation straight away will take place. Marriage will be dissolved. And they're not allowed to marry again. And as for the children who are between them, if the father denies that he is the father, then the judge will look. He will not just simply will exempt the father from responsibility. These days, maybe the DNA will play a big role. If that is 100% that this is from the father. But at the time, the judge will see, is there any resemblance between the father and the children? So we got now as for the nikah, when we've been taught nikah, sawaj, marriage, or talaq, divorce, or al-raj'a. Al-raj'a means a person who divorces his wife the first or the second time, and he wants to bring her back, called al-raj'a. So when you marry Everybody makes these two witnesses, but when somebody divorces people, they don't know that they have to have witnesses as well for this divorce to take place. Otherwise, the husband, he might refrain or retract his divorce. So two witnesses. And also, if he wants to go back to her within the iddah period, cooling off period, then also it has to be with two witnesses. Well, people, they don't do that. They only do it with the marriage alone. They don't do it for the divorce or going back to the wife while she is in the state of cooling off period, iddah, the divorce, first or second. And in that, two are to be two male witnesses. These two male witnesses has to be, again, having fulfilled the conditions. But some of the conditions that some people they don't pay attention to is al-adala. They'll bring any witness. If he doesn't pray, then that witness is invalid, which will invalidate even the marriage. The marriage will be void. Why? Because, yeah. Can I just ask for this to be on me? I'll just put something in that fan. I'm sweating, Sheikh. I don't know what's wrong with me. Make it loud, make it high. Yeah, and make it on me, please. That's it. That's it. Yeah, put it down. Put it down. Can you put it down? Okay. Yeah. Does it go down?
Down? I think that one. No.
It doesn't. It's not on me. There's nothing. There's nothing on me.
The other one.
Nothing on me. It's just going there. Salam. You switched off the AC. That's why it's stopped. Yeah, he's cold, but I'm hot. No. I'm gonna just move my table a bit for you because I'm gonna just go to this fan. No, it's not, the fan is more important than the AC. AC doesn't do anything. AC feeds you guys, but it doesn't give me any air. Yes, colors. Yes, very good. Now, feeling it. I don't believe in AC. Have you seen the haram without fans? They've got the best ACs. Have you seen them without fans? I'm asking. No. I have to have a fan to recircle the air. It's not just AC. This is people, they don't understand that. And Reading, only AC.
Yeah, no.
And I go to the hub, to the khutbah, I'm really sweating. So I'm gonna, next project, inshallah, I'm gonna buy them a fan. Hang it for them in the wall. Allah, I said I'm not gonna make khutbah if you don't need to bring me a fan. Right. Now we're coming to the shahada regarding person who is making a transaction money-wise. The witnesses are needed here, 2 men, but women can be witnesses. But how many? Each 2 women equivalent to 1 man. So you could have 2 men, 1 man and 2 women, or 4 women, no problem. The testimony regarding al-rada'ah. Rada'ah means suckling. And the woman, she had given milk to a certain baby or a child. In the rada'ah, in the suckling, the men are not involved. No one can say that woman, she had gave 5 times suckling to such and such baby. Now see the woman, and it's only 1 witness is enough because of the hadith, where a man came to the Prophet ﷺ complaining that a woman came from nowhere to say that I am the one I am trying to engage to, that she had given us both. Rada'ah, nursing, suckling. And he doubts her saying, he thinks that she's a liar. She just wants to separate between them. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, do you want to put your life at stake? It could be true, it could be not. We have to take her words on board because she made a testimony by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even though that you think she's done it out of malignant. She wants to spoil the marriage. It does take place. It does take place. Somebody had come to me, the same case. He is with his cousin, he's in love with her, and he wants to marry her. And before they got married, this woman, she came, the grandma of that woman, she said, I gave milk to both of you. And he thinks and believes she did this because she wants her granddaughter to marry somebody else. I said, well, I'm sorry. She testified, her testimony is valid. So we know, in the case of nursing, it is one woman, okay, is enough, men, no men. Right. The hikmah or the wisdom behind why is it the clarification, the proof is to be presented by the claimant, because he is claiming something which is hidden. Something had happened, nobody knows about it. So that's why he has to produce an evidence. That's why, and the evidence is more likely to present the truthfulness of what he's claiming. That's why it's al-bayyinatu ala man idda'a. So if the claimant did not produce any witnesses, then the judge will ask the person who is the defendant to make an oath to say that I am not responsible. It is not what he says. And this person, when he makes an oath, he should be aware of the devastating consequences of a lying oath. Because the Prophet ﷺ, he said, Man iqtata'a haqqa imri'in muslimin biyaminihi. He who does had claimed the due right of somebody else with his oath, فَقَدْ أَوْجَبَ اللَّهُ لَهُ النَّارِ. Allah will put him into hell. Allah will make him to go to hell. Prophet ﷺ was asked, وَلَوْ كَانَ قَضِيبًا مِنْ أَرَاكَ, even if it's to be a siwak, you know, that sort of piece of wooden stick. He had now made an oath for that. He said, وَلَوْ كَانَ قَضِيبًا مِنْ أَرَاكَ. So if you had claimed by your oath something which does not belong to you, even as little as that wooden stick which is worth nothing, Allah will entail for you that hellfire, وَحَرَّمَ عَلَيْهِ الْجَنَّةَ, and He will make paradise as well prohibited upon you. And that is dangerous. Al-Yamin, we call it Al-Yamin al-Ghamus. Ghamus means the dipping, to dip you into hell. This Yamin, Al-Yamin al-Fajira, al-Iyadu billah. The Prophet ﷺ, he had said that this testimony of Zur is equivalent to the shirk in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One day the Prophet ﷺ, he said, he just started from nowhere saying to the companions, Al-an adalat shahadat al-zur al-ishraka billahi azza wa jalla. Now it's been revealed to me that lying oath is equivalent to make shirk with Allah. فاجتنبوا قول الزور. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in this verse. He had combined between two. That is, avoid the falsehood testimony and also making shirk with Allah. So both would be equal in this ayah. Because of that, the Prophet said, عَدَلَتْ شَهَادَةُ الزُّورِ الْإِشْرَاكَ بِاللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ. Right. Also, this hadith, it organizes the dealings between the people. It shows the hikmah of the Sharia. Because why is this whole principle is all about? Because so many people can claim something which is not belonging to them to be to them. This is mine, this is mine. Brother, can't you believe me? I'm a Muslim, this is mine. Or this is the way it is. Well, proof, even if you're a Muslim. Got no proof, then the other person will take an oath, and I did not do it. Whatever you said is not the right thing. And always the judge will start with the one who claims. And the Sharia came to protect the wealth and the property of the believers, of the Muslims. Also tells us here in this hadith that the people love the wealth. They love the wealth. That's why Sharia came to protect it. And the judge has to rule in justice. Coming now to hadith 34. Ahmed, hang on a second. Fadal.
Hadith number 34, on the authority of Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, may Allah be pleased with him, who said, I heard the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say, whoever of you sees an evil, let him change it with his hand, and if he is not able to do so, then let him change it with his tongue, and if he is not able to do so, then with his heart, and that is the weakest of faith.
Qadi Iyad, he said that this hadith is asl, one of the foundation in how to change things. Al-amru bil-ma'ruf wal-nahyu anil munkar. And it is actually one of the strongest branches of Iman. The hadith has a reason why it was being said by the Prophet ﷺ. Tariq ibn Shihab, he says that the first person who made the khutbah of the Eid before the prayer, and you know that the khutbah should after the prayer, that the first person who had made the khutbah of the Eid before the prayer is Marwan ibn al-Hakam. Marwan ibn al-Hakam in the era of the Umayyah, he came after Yazid. So Marwan ibn al-Hakam, he is the one who had made the khutbah of the Eid. Instead of to be after the Salah, he made it before the Salah. The reason behind this, people, they don't trust him anymore. So as soon as the Salah finishes, they don't sit for them for the khutbah. So because of that, he made this khutbah to be before the Salah. Because they're coming to the Salah, they're going to go nowhere. So they have to listen to it. A man, he stood to him and he said, As-salatu qabla al-khutbah. How can you make the Salah? How can you make the khutbah before the Salah? The Salah should be before the khutbah. So he said, well, we left this. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiallahu anhu, the companion, said, as for this man, he had fulfilled his obligation, which is enjoining good, forbidding evil. But I heard the Prophet ﷺ saying, he who sees a munkar, something which is evil, let him change it in his hand, to the end of the hadith that you had heard. So this hadith is a proof that the one who had started the khutbah al-Eid to be before the prayer is Marwan al-Hakam. But by the way, what time is the prayer? Adhan? Now? 1 minute. Yes, it is. 1 minute. Okay. And after that, do you straight away the prayer or wait for 3-4 minutes? We'll pray straight away. I'm just make the adhan, pray straight away, and then we will continue. Bismillah. I'll stop. I'll pause the inshallah. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa mawala. Amma ba'd. Coming back to what we have been explaining, which is hadith 34. And this hadith happens to be hadith 184 from Riyadh al-Salihin. So hadith 34 is equivalent to 184 from Riyadh al-Salihin, to the same author, Imam An-Nawawi. And as we have discussed, well, alhamdulillah, the reason for this hadith, and we said that this man who had objected on Marwan al-Hakam to make the khutbah of the Eid before the prayer of the Eid, So might somebody ask why Abu Sa'id al-Khudri did not do so, because Abu Sa'id is a companion. Well, it's one of the three possibilities. Either Abu Sa'id, he was not present from the time of the beginning when Marwan is about to start his khutbah, or that Abu Sa'id, he entered at the same time as that person, he was delivering his nasiha, his advice. Or it could be that Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, he was fearing for himself if he's to object on Marwan al-Hakam, and this will make fitna because of his objection. And that is why the fulfillment of enjoining good and forbidding evil is not abiding upon it. And also there is another possibility that Abu Sa'id, he had actually wanted to object, but this man was first. There's another hadith which Al-Bukhari and Muslim narrates in the chapter of Salat al-Eidain, that Abu Sa'id, he is the one who had pulled the hand of Marwan when he wanted to ascend the pulpit. And Marwan, he said, well, what he said to that man is exactly the same. Some scholars, they said it's actually two incidents, separate incidents. Wallahu a'lam. طيب, let's just now go to the explanation of this hadith. Now, مَنْ رَأَى مِنْكُمْ, he who sees. Now, he who sees either with his own eyes or he knows about it. And the second is more wide. The one who sees an evil, or the one he knew that there's an evil taking place. And the second opinion is better, the second tafsir or interpretation, because whether he sees or not, as long as he knows there is something wrong. قال منكم, from you. From you, that means you, the Muslims, the ones who are able to enjoin good and forbid evil, the ones who is having the responsibility. So you could not, it's not for a child, it's for an adult. And it's not for a weak person, it's for somebody who is capable of changing the munkar. Munkaran is anything that the Sharia made haram, whether it is an action or a saying, whether it is small or big. فَلْيُغَيِّرْ, let him change it. Let him change it. Ibn Daqiq al-Eid said, rahimahullah, and that is a command with consensus. And Al-Quran and the Sunnah had consensus regarding the compulsory of enjoining the good and forbidding the evil. And let me tell you, the scholars had differed whether this is an individual obligation or whether it is a collective obligation, communal obligation, meaning one person, if he does it, nobody will be sinned. If nobody had done it, then everybody will be sinned. Or is it individual obligation? Two madhab. And the madhab of most of the scholars, it is communal obligation. The ones who had said that it's individual obligation, they said it's because this hadith says فَلْيُغَيِّرْ, it is him to change it. And the one who said it's communal obligation, he said because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says وَلْتَكُمْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٌ, let be a group of you يدعون إلى الخير ويأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر وأولئك هم المفلحون, because it's just a group of people, not all of you. Not all of you is expected to enjoy good and forbidden evil. وَلْتَكُمْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٌ, it's not وَلْيَكُنْ كُلُّكُمْ, all of you has to do it. There's somebody reading Ikhwani with me, I don't know. I'm hearing some read recitation. Okay. Let me tell you something, Ikhwani. This school or this class of knowledge with the consensus of all scholars, Hanafi, Shafi'i, Maliki, Imam Ahmad, when something clashes with the classes of knowledge, the knowledge comes precedence over the supplicatory prayer. Voluntary prayer is beneficial to the person who's praying, but all the knowledge is beneficial to everyone. Only the obligatory that takes precedence. When anything voluntary, prayer comes first. So we tell our brother here, brother, because you were talking and while I'm reading, and that is going to be causing some sort of disturbance. You are praying, but you are praying supererogatory and voluntary prayer. That's beneficial for you. But the benefit of the knowledge is more. That's why you see the student knowledge will let go of the sunnah. Let it go, because you're not going to benefit from the sunnah as much as you're going to benefit from the class of knowledge. So when there is a knowledge class, either the person would leave or to stay to listen. But to make a sunnah prayer while the knowledge is on, that's opposing the opinion of all the scholars, including Abu Hanifa, Imam Malik, Imam Shafi'i. That's consensus. So we sit to learn the knowledge is more beneficial, inshallah. But there is, of course, some cases where the obligation becomes individual 100%, even for those who say it's a communal obligation, that is to change the evil, to command with the good. Case number one, that if the sultan or the leader had told you to do so, so you've been appointed by a leader. Secondly, that you are the person who knows and the others, they don't know. So let's say something like, for example, now, the supererogatory prayer. He's praying and I am doing the knowledge. Nobody maybe of you knows that when this clashes, that the knowledge comes first. Then it becomes compulsory upon me to enjoin the good and forbid the evil. And I could do it in two ways. I could stand up and prevent the person who's praying the supererogatory to stop. Maybe it's going to cause more fitna. Then or I wait for him to finish, and then what? I'll address the issue, and then inshallah later on it will not be repeated. But let him change it, whether in his hand or his what? Same. If he's scared from the person, is too big, might he beat him up or something, let him change it in his heart. Let him change it in his heart. Because this guy is finishing his prayer, is going to cause problems here. Let me just do it in my heart and Salaam alaikum, I've done my job. And also that if the only person who is capable physically and tongue-wise to enjoin good with evil, it becomes compulsory on the person individually. All of those, as Shaykh al-Islam Taymiyyah had mentioned. But now, the enjoining of the good and forbidding the evil has so many fruits. One of them, number one, this is the task of the messengers. وَلَقَدْ بَعَثْنَا فِي كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ رَسُولًا أَنْ يَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَيَجْتَنِبُوا الطَّاغُوتَ. We have sent in every nation, in every ummah, that is a messenger commanding them to what? Worship Allah and shun worshipping the taghut, anything beside Allah. Secondly, it's from the description and the characteristics of the believer to enjoin good and forbid evil. وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتِ, male believers and male and female believers. بَعْضُهُمْ أَوْلِيَاءُ بَعْضٍ, they are the helpers and the friends of one another. What? يأمرون بالمعروف, enjoining good, وينهون عن المنكر, and forbid evil, ويقيمون الصلاة, and establish the prayer, ويؤتون الزكاة, and they give the zakah, ويطيعون الله ورسوله, and they obey Allah and His Messenger. Thirdly, that the ummah's good, the ummah's triumph, is actually connected to this issue, enjoining good and forbidding evil. So, kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat linnas. You were the best of ummah, sent to mankind. What? Enjoining good and forbidding evil and believing in Allah. تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر وتؤمنون بالله. That's why we are the best of nations. It's not because we belong to a certain race or color or language or belong to a certain club. Like the Jews, Sha'bullah al-Muqtar, they think they are the chosen people. So the Jews is a closed club. Nobody can enter. Has to have a mother Jewish. We don't have that in Islam. You could be a Muslim, whether you're African, whether you are European, whether you are Arab, whether you are Asian. No difference. Your key is La ilaha illallah. But then the message by which you are distinguished from others, enjoining good and forbidding evil. Also, it is from the description and the characteristics of the prophets. All these prophets, they enjoin good and forbidding evil. الَّذِينَ يَتَّبِعُونَ الرَّسُولَ النَّبِيَّ الْأُمِّيِّ, the ones who follow the messenger, the prophet, who is illiterate. الَّذِي يَجِدُونَهُ مَكْتُوبًا عِنْدَهُمْ, they find his name written with them. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is being written with them في التوراة, in the Old Testament. So whether they deny it or not, is being written. What is he doing? يأمرهم بالمعروف وينهاهم عن المنكر. That is, he is making them, enjoining them to do good and forbidding to do evil. وَيَحِلُّ لَهُمُ الطَّيِّبَاتُ وَيُحَرِّمُ عَلَيْهِمُ الْخَبَائِثِ, and makes the halal to be halal and the evil things to be haram, the khaba'ith. No good thing to be haram. So this is the characteristics of the prophets. Also, it is the characteristics of the pious people. لَيْسُوا سَوَاءً. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, they're not the same. مِنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ, there are some people from the people of the book. قال أمة قائمة يتلون آيات الله, that there are ummah, a group of people from the Al-Kitab reciting the verses of Allah. When? أنا الليل وهم يسجدون, at the end of the night, during the night, late night, when they are prostrated, يؤمنون بالله واليوم الآخر, believing in Allah, in the last day, ويأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر, enjoining good and forbidding evil, ويسارعون في الخيرات, and they race one another in doing the goods. أولئك هم الصالحون, and those are the righteous people. Also enjoining good and forbidding evil is from the reasons of getting victory. You will be gaining victory. وَلَيَنْصُرَنَّ اللَّهُ مَنْ يَنْصُرُ وَلَيَنْصُرَنَّ اللَّهُ مَنْ يَنْصُرُ. Allah will give victory to the one who gives him victory. How can you give victory to Allah? That means you champion his orders, his commands. You champion his prohibitions. Inna Allah laqawiyyun aziz. Allah is the omnipotent or the strong, and He is the mighty. Alladina, well, who are these people? The ones whom Allah is going to give them victory, going to make them to be champions. Alladina in makkannahum fil ard, the ones who have given them power to establish or to empower the land, to have the power over the land. What they do? Aqamu salah, establish the prayer. Wa atawu zakat, and also give the zakat. Wa amaru bil ma'rufi wa nahu 'anil munkari wa lillahi 'aqibatul umur, and they will enjoy good and forbid evil, and to Allah the affairs will go back to. So here, from the reasons of victory, that the person enjoins good and forbids evil. Also, it is from the reasons of salvation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, أَنْجَيْنَا الَّذِينَ يَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ السُّوءِ, we have given salvation to the ones who forbid evil. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanding the good and enjoining the good and forbidding the evil from the reasons of what? From the reasons of salvation. You get salvation with that. But thirdly, what are the consequences and the danger of people abandoning, enjoining good and forbidding evil? What are the dangers? And that's a very important issue. There's something? ينهون عن السوء. Number one, you could ask me later on, because when you say this, if something happened on the microphone or something like this, okay, inshallah. Also, it is the danger of those who do not enjoy good and forbid evil. Number one, this is from the characteristics of the hypocrites. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, Al-Munafiquna wal-Munafiqat, the male hypocrites and the female hypocrites. What do? بَعْضُهُمْ مِنْ بَعْضٍ, they are one from another. يَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمُنْكَرِ, enjoining evil, not enjoining good. وَيَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمَعْرُوفِ, and they forbid the good. So al-munafiqun wal-munafiqat, ba'duhum min ba'd. Those hypocrites, they're one from the other. What do? يَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمُنْكَرِ وَيَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمَعْرُوفِ وَيَقْبِضُونَ أَيْدِيَهُمْ نَسُوا اللَّهَ فَنَسِيَهُمْ. They forgot Allah, Allah did not give them the barakah. Secondly, from the danger of abandoning the enjoining of the good and forbidding the evil, is that will entail punishment and trials and lots of bad things coming to the ummah. Punishment. Prophet ﷺ, he said, Inna an-nasa idha ra'aw al-zalim, when the people, they see the tyrant leader or the tyrant person, walam ya'khudhu ala yaday, and they do not stop him, punish him, أوشك الله أن يعمهم بعقاب من عنده. Allah is about to encompass them all together with a punishment from Him. So if you have seen the violent and you did not do to his dhulm, at least change it in his heart if you can. If you cannot, you stop him from the dhulm, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will punish the people. أوشك الله أن يعمهم, all of them, with a punishment from Him. So if you have a general punishment and you have got nothing to do with it, be sure it is actually from those people who are able to enjoy good and forbid evil. They did not do it. They haven't done their part. Also, from the consequences of not enjoining good and forbidding evil, that supplications and dua will not be fulfilled. So, لَتَأْمُرُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَلَتَنْهَوُنَّ عَنِ الْمُنكَرِ أَوْ لِيُسَلِّطَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكُمْ عِقَابًا مِّنْهُ فَتَدْعُونَهُ. Prophet said, either you enjoy good, this is an oath, or forbid evil, either enjoy good and forbid evil, or except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will impose upon you عِقَابًا مِّنْهُ, punishment for him. Again, that is وَلَتَأْمُرُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَلَتَنْهَوُنَّ عَنِ الْمُنكَرِ or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala لَيُسَلِّطَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكُمْ عِقَابًا مِّنْ عِنْدِهِ, Allah أو منه, Allah will impose upon you a punishment from him. فَتَدْعُونَهُ فَلَا يَسْتَجِيبَ لَكُمْ. You call upon him and he will not respond to your call. And that is Hadith, also Sahih in Sunan al-Tirmidhi. It's a dangerous thing. Number 4, from the punishment of abandoning and enjoying good and forbidding evil, curse. A curse, a lamb, and being expelled from the mercy of Allah. Allah says, لُعِنَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا مِنْ بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ عَلَى لِسَانِ دَاوُودَ وَعِيسَى بْنِ مَرْيَمَ ذَلِكَ بِمَا عَصَوْا وَكَانُوا يَعْتَدُونَ. The ones who are disbelievers from the children of Israel, they were cursed on the tongue of whom? Dawood, Isa, son of Maryam. And why? Because they were disobedient and they were transgressing. كانوا, what was their description? لا يتناهون عن منكر فعلوه. They were not telling one another to enjoin, to forbid evil. When they say the evil, they will not forbid it. They will let it go. They will see the evil prosper and say nothing. كانوا لا يتناهون عن منكر فعلوه لبئس ما كانوا يفعلون. Woe to the what they used to do. From the sayings of the Salaf, ya Ikhwani, the predecessors regarding the enjoining good and the forbidding evil, things that, subhanallah, it's like they're speaking from revelation. So, for example, Al-Imam Sufyan al-Thawri, rahimahullah. Sufyan al-Thawri, he says regarding this issue that إِذَا أَمَرْتَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ, if you have enjoyed good, then you have helped a believer. وَإِذَا نَهَيْتَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ, if you have forbidden evil, then you have disgraced a hypocrite. Look at that. So if you enjoy the good, you help the believer. You forbid the evil, definitely you have what? Disgrace, and you have stopped, you have put that nose of the hypocrite in the dust. Because you forbade him from what? From doing the evil. Also, Ali radiallahu anhu, he said, أَوَّلُ مَا تُغْلَبُونَ عَلَيْهِ, the first thing that you're going to be leaving and abandoning, you're not going to do it. From the jihad, from the striving, the jihad, al-jihad will be aydikum. That is to meet jihad with your hands. Then the jihad with your tongues. Then the making this jihad with your tongue. So first thing is going to go away from you. You're not going to be able to do it. Jihad in your hand. To change the ma'ruf, to munkar, to command with the good with your hand, you can't do it. Then then later on, the jihad with lisan. Then with the tongue. Then the jihad with your hearts. You will not even going to do it. فَإِذَا لَمْ يَعْرِفِ الْقَلْبِ, so if the heart did not do, did not know, did not acknowledge, did not recognize al-ma'ruf, what is the good, وَلَمْ يُنْكِرِ الْمُنْكَرِ, and he does not deny or accept or approve the evil, nukis, you will go upside down. You will see heart, the top of it is down and the down of it is up. And that is the hypocrite heart. Qalbun mankus. Because he does not enjoy good, does not forbid evil. Wal-iyadhu billah. We're not talking about changing with the hand or the tongue. We're changing with the hearts, which is adhaful iman. Abu Darda rahimahullah, he said, لَتَأْمُرُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَلَتَنْهَوُنَّ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ. Either you enjoy good or forbid evil, أَوْ لَيُسَلِّطَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكُمْ سُلْطَانًا. Allah, O Lord, or otherwise, Allah will impose upon you a sultan, a khalifa, a leader, walim, tyrant. لا يجل كبيركم. He does not respect your elders. ولا يرحم صغيركم. He will not have mercy upon your youngest, your youth, your youngest. And that is so, Yahwan. If you don't enjoin good and forbid evil, that's what's going to happen. That's why we find tyrant leaders upon the Muslims. They are Muslims. They have no respect to the elders and no mercy to the youth. It's because of us. We don't enjoin good and forbid evil. Hudayfa rahimahullah, or radiyallahu anhu, and the companions, when he was asked about Mayyit al-Ahya, he is alive, yet he's dead. Who is that person? He's alive and breathing and his heart, but yet he's dead. He said, the one who does not change the evil with his hand, nor with his tongue, nor with his heart. That is, he's dead. He's just alive, breathing air, but he's dead. He does not forbid the evil, whether in his hand or his tongue or even with his heart. Also, Sufyan al-Thawri, he said, again, so when I see the evil and I don't deny it, for verily that's equivalent of me, I'm about to urinate blood. So if I see the evil and I can't deny it, he's like, you're almost urinating blood, and he might do so because of the agonization and the depression he goes into. How can I not deny this? Because he's not able to do so. So it is devastating upon the scholars to see an evil and they can't really change it. So if your heart now accepted all this corruption, and some people, they would say, Da'al Khaliq, Da'al Khalq lil Khaliq, leave the creation to the creator. What should we do? Leave them do what they want. You're finished there. You have no denial whatsoever. You have even your heart, you accepted even the batil going around. You became just like a dead person. A dead person, like Hudayfa, he said, when he was asked, who is the dead and yet he's alive? The one who does not deny the evil or object to it, whether his hand or his tongue or his heart. But fourth thing we want to talk about, that this hadith shows us how to object, how to change the munkar and the levels of it. Number one, he said what? The hand. This hand, then you have to be able. So if you can't, for example, you're scared that if you change it with a hand, it might build another evil, which is bigger than the first one that you're trying to remove, then you should not remove it with your hand. So he started with the hadith, the one who changes the munkar with what? With his hand, because it is the strongest of all. Are you hot? Huh? Inshallah. Right. So he started with the one which is the hand, because it's the strongest of all ranks. That's the first one he started with. Then he said the tongue. The hadith says the tongue. The tongue, like for example, give a reminder. Brothers, this is not right, this is not correct. If you can't with the tongue, then, or there is something that would make him under threat or something like this, then he should do it with the heart. And this is compulsory upon everybody, regardless if you are powerless or with a power. You have to change it with your heart. This is the weakest of all iman. Prophet said, "Laysa ba'da dhalika habbatu khardal min iman." After that, there is not even a mustard seed of iman in the heart of the person. Right. From the conditions, that's number 5, of enjoining good and forbidding evil is capability. And this is taken from lots of ahadith, and before that, lots of ayat. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Allah will not burden a soul more than it takes. That's lots of ahadith, lots of ayat. So nobody can be burdened over what he can take. فاتقوا الله ما استطعتم. Allah says, fear Allah as much as you can. And also in this hadith, he said, من رأى منكم منكرا فليغيره بيده فإن لم يستطع فبلسانه فإن لم يستطع فبقلبه وذلك أضعف الإيمان. So you got ranks. As Ibn Kathir, he said, Allah will not burden you over what you have or what you are able. And this is from his generosity, the Almighty subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also, from the conditions of the person who is enjoying good and forbidding evil, number 1 is to be having knowledge. You have to know what you're enjoying good and forbidding evil. How can you? And also, this knowledge is the knowledge of the evil itself and the good itself, and the knowledge of the person when you're going to enjoin good unto him or forbid him from doing evil. So you know this person. What is he? You have to know him. So for example, if he's a Khalifa, he's a leader, you can't enjoin good and forbid evil in front of people and humiliate him. They'll end up what? Being punished by it. Can't. You cannot just go to say to the Khalifa in front of the people, you have done wrong. You can't say that. It's a Khalifa, it's a Caliph. So I had to know, who am I giving the instruction to? And what is the instruction? What I'm trying to do here? What is the good I'm enjoining? And what is the evil I'm trying to forbid? Secondly, you have to be as well gentle. Gentleness. ما كان الرفق في شيء إلا زانه وما نزع الرفق من شيء إلا شانه. When you enjoin good, you have to be what? Kind. You can't speak with harshness. You have to be the most merciful. نحن أهل السنة أرحم أعلم الناس بالحق وأرحم الناس بالخلق. As Sheikh said, we are Ahlul Sunnah, the most knowledgeable regarding the haqq and the most merciful upon the khalq, the creation. Merciful. So when we tell them, you can tell them into easy. Thirdly, you have to be wise. You have to be patient. You might have some harms. That person fires some words against you. So don't just fire back. He said to you something to humiliate you. No. I'll give you an example, just lightly. This person, I know him. And between me and respect, I'm older than him. I come to the masjid. I see him in the masjid. I don't usually see him in the masjid at all, for the first time. So when he was prostrating, it looks like he recently started the prayer, because I've seen his beard mashallah going up. Then his back, when he's prostrating, that t-shirt of his is pulling out from his trousers. So some of the beginning of his buttocks is showing. And that would what? Invalidate the prayer. So your job is to pull it for him, and make him sort of aware of it. So he was showing, so I had pulled it, and he was shrunk, and he's not really caring about it. So I pulled it again until he has taken notice, or he said, this guy's not like going to let go of me, for example. And he put it, finished the prayer. And I was one rak'ah behind. He was in the row before me. So he was finishing the prayer before. So when I finished the prayer, I've got a talk at that time, to give a talk. So I said to him, Salaam alaikum. He just looked at me with a way, and he knows me. And all this friendship is gone. And he said to me, and I said to him, brother, just to explain to you what I did this to you, because the prayer is invalid if you don't really do that. Yeah, I know. You just cut me off. I know. But you can't just be harsh. Harsh? I didn't mind harsh. Don't raise your voice. I'm not raising my voice. I'm speaking to you like this. You just want to create a problem. So I have to be patient. I could have just said to him, I'm not harsh. What are you talking about? And then the evil I'm trying to forbid, and create another evil, which is what? A fight. I had to hold myself. I said, okay, I'm not raising my voice. I'm just telling you. Now somebody who's younger saying to somebody who's older, it's like you're all treating an animal. I took it like this. And I went straight away to give the talk, because the people now finished their sunnah while I'm finishing what I left from the hour. I just went to go there. And he just prayed his sunnah while I'm talking as well, and he left. I'm just asking Allah for guidance. So you have to be patient. The consequences of what you have done, or you could say, the product of the good deed that you've done, maybe this person will understand later on. But maybe his ego, his whatever, his pride is being scratched. He's not going to listen to me. But later he's going to think about it. And he understands that I have done this in his favor. Okay? One. And if he doesn't acknowledge this, Allah acknowledges you. Enjoying good and forbidding evil. You have to be patient. But remember, I wouldn't recommend somebody like a little boy now, like this, or young man, to hear my words and see somebody who's much older than him and to start pull his shirt, because he might break his leg. Because you see the difference? I'm a person older. I'm known to be knowledgeable than him. I'm a person who can, be accepted by the people. People, they know me. I just go. I will not do this to an older man than me, especially if I know this short-fused, tempered sheikh, old man. He might really swear at me, and why should I? So I'll tell him after later on about this. Allah musta'an. You have to be patient. That's the most important thing. And Allah Azza wa Jal, He says, "Wasbir ala ma yaqul." O Prophet, be patient regarding what they label you with. They labeled him as a poet, sha'ir, majnoon, kadhab, liar, everything. "Wasbir kama sabara ulul azm min rusul." Be patient like the ones who have been patient from ulul azm. Those are the prophets which have been distinguished, 5 prophets. Nuh alayhi salam, Ibrahim alayhi salam, Musa alayhi salam, Isa alayhi salam. The last one is Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Should he be just a person who is abided by the one who commands good and enjoying good? That's and forbid evil. Like, let's say, for example, this is a criminal. He's a thief. So you see somebody who's doing something bad. Is it a condition for him to be good first before he starts enjoying good? You understand me? Studying. Well, the scholars had differed regarding this issue. They said, well, he has to be a person who is of good character. He cannot be just a criminal. So Allah's message, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said regarding this issue, أَتَأْمُرُونَ النَّاسَ بِالْبِرِّ وَتَنْسَوْنَ أَنفُسَكُمْ وَأَنْتُمْ تَتْلُونَ الْكِتَابَ. You rabbis, He's talking to them, the Jewish rabbis, you are commanding the people to do righteousness, and you forget about yourselves while you, the ones who read the scripture. So how dare you enjoy good and forbid evil to other people while you don't do it? You don't do that good you're commanding the people to do, and you embark upon the evil that you're trying to, or you're telling the people not to do it. Do you understand me? While you recite the book. And also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Alif Lam Mim, Hasiba an-nasu an yutraku yaqulu amanna wa hum la yuftanun. Also He said, Kabura maqtan inda Allahi an taqulu ma la taf'alun. Kabura maqtan, it is most disliked with Allah to say something which you don't do. So you have to, Ya ayyuha alladhina lima taquluna ma la taf'alun. Why do you say something that you don't do? Also the Prophet ﷺ, he said, Hadith Anas, Usriya bi, when the night journey took place, the Prophet of Allah was taken into the ascension to the heavens. He said, I had seen people whom their lips were cut by scissors of fire. So I said to Jibreel, who are these? He said, these are the ones who are the khutaba, the orators, the one who gives speeches, especially on the Jumu'ah or the talks on the table. Khutaba ummatik, from your ummah, Muslims. They address the people in masses in general. الَّذِينَ يَأْمُرُونَ النَّاسِ وَيَنْسَوْنَ أَنفُسَهُمْ, commanding the people and forgetting about themselves. الَّذِينَ يَقُولُونَ مَا لَا يَفْعَلُونَ وَيَقْرَؤُونَ كِتَابَ اللَّهِ وَلَا يَعْمَلُونَ بِهِ. Another narration. The ones they ask people to do something, they don't do it. And they recite the book of Allah and they don't implement it. Prophet ﷺ talks about the people of hellfire. There's a man going round the mill with his intestines, the intestines of his belly, and going right, the donkey goes round the mill. People of the hellfire comes and they say, aren't you Sheikh so-and-so? They recognize him, Sheikh so-and-so, you are Sheikh so-and-so. Didn't you used to enjoin us to do good and forbid us from doing evil? I mean, it's a surprise for us to find in the hellfire where you, the Sheikh, were telling us to not to do what we have done, and that's why we're in the hell. He said, well, I used to command you to do the good, and I don't do it. And I used to tell you not to do such and such, and I did it. His intestines is out of his belly, going around it, just like the donkey goes round the mill. But the other scholars said, no, it is not a condition to be a person who is a person of good character. It could be, because Allah's Messenger said, Inna Allah la yu'ayyidu hada ad-din bil-rajul al-fajir. Allah gives help to this religion, support to this religion with the corrupted person. Corrupted person will give help to the religion. And also the general text from the Quran and the Sunnah, which talks about enjoining good and forbidding evil, it does not have a condition there that the person has to be a good character. And also, when you say that you have a good character, you are now blocking enjoining the good and forbidding evil from lots of people to do it. Hang on a second, I can't tell him to stop gambling while I'm a person who takes riba. You understand that? So that's why we say that the correct opinion is the person who says that it is not a condition. You have to be a good character. So I'll give you an example. Father who smokes, his son for the first time held a cigarette. So if we said he has to be a good character, he could never be able to what, to tell his son off, or to tell him don't approach his cigarettes. But we say to him at the same time, it is most dislike with Allah to do things which you also to say things which you don't do it. You're telling the child not to have the cigarette while you are a smoker, but that doesn't prevent you as well from telling the child, oh, as I said, you're going to block a lot of things. Lots of people. Somebody who is, for example, he is gambling, but he hates riba. Somebody who is putting his house in mortgage, yet he's telling other people, don't be in mortgage. Well, he's in a mortgage, but he knows it's haram. He knows it is haram, but he can't help it. This father who is hooked to the cigarette, he can't leave it. But he will never tolerate for his son to be in the same path. So if we would block that gate and we said, you're not allowed to join good and forbid evil, we're blocking lots of people. Brother, what's your qualification for enjoying good and forbidding evil? No, we don't do that. Any person who knows a haq, let them do it. This is true story of the time of, just came to my mind now, Jamal Abdel Nasser. Jamal Abdel Nasser, he was the president of Egypt in the 60s and up to the 70s, the end of 60s. Jamal Abdel Nasser, he was like almost a communist. He had locked up most of the Ikhwan Muslimin Brotherhood. And with them, any person who's got a beard, Shuyukh al-Din, to such an extent that the masajid had no mu'adhin to call the adhan. Most of them in prison. Guess who had made the adhan in the absence of those people? Those people, what we call them suyya, meaning those people who are street guys. They are on the clubs playing shesh besh and wasting their time, and they don't even have ever prayed in their life. But the Muslim, they couldn't tolerate it. The masjid's adhan is not on. They left the club and made adhan in the masjid. The ones who play shesh besh, still Muslims. They don't pray, but they can't tolerate for the masjid have no adhan. Still the deen in their heart. The masjid's no adhan. So why don't they open the masjid and start making adhan? Maybe Allah had opened his heart with his adhan, but I'm just saying. If you remember Salman Rushdie, that was back into the 80s. Back into the 80s. I was here and I watched everything. I was in Manchester actually. And I saw the what's so called, what do you call it, protest or whatever. Anyway, I'm not really supportive of any protest because it doesn't do anything. It's chaos. But when Salman al-Rushdie, he was backed up by so many people, not being some people, who are even want to provoke the Muslims or portray a bad image about them. Because we've got somebody who is Salman Rushdie from yours. He's not a Muslim anyway. Who wrote a book, and that book he condemned the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and he even condemned the Queen who had died. But those people who were blind, they're not really looking at the condemnation of the Queen. They were looking at the, oh yes, condemning what Muhammad ﷺ. What he had done, it actually backfired. You understand what the word backfired is? The opposite. That's why they stopped him. He brought the guys, the shesh besh, the yush, who never prayed. They are the ones who've been provoked. They are the ones who made the protest. They never prayed. How dare you insult our Prophet Muhammad? Say, hang on a second. We brought even the one who was asleep. back to the deen. It's the opposite. That's why Salman Rushdie, you're no good. Take him away. That's it. Because he did the opposite. The Shuyukh couldn't get this out. These people get them out into Islam and chant Islam, Allahu Akbar, and they brought the imitation of Salman Rushdie. They burnt it. I'm not with it. I'm not with this. But those guys, you know, we are striving hard to get into the masjid or to the deen. These people being got to the deen by Salman Rushdie. Came back to the deen to Salman Rushdie. So we don't really block the door from those who want to enjoy good and forbid evil, even from those who are not good character. But so we find here that Inkar al-Munkar has levels. Either you first level, as Muqaymi said, when you enjoy good, first that the whole munkar will be gone, and then the opposite of the munkar will be replaced. That's good, the best one. So you're taking away the gambling, and instead of that, alhamdulillah, halal investment. That's the best. Second level, that some of that evil is gone. It's gone decreased. Okay? It's not all of it decreased. And that's still good. It's decreased. Third one, this is where the people, scholars have ijtihad, where that is, the evil is not gone, but to put something instead of it. So, this is something which is not evil. Sorry, it's not the same evil, a different type of evil. You tried, and that is, scholars have difference among the scholars, but the one who say that the evil be removed and replaced by a more evil, that's not allowed. So if you think you're going to remove the evil, produce more evil, don't do it. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. Hadith 35, we'll leave it inshallah for next time. If you have any questions, we've now finished Hadith 33, 34. Two hadiths, but the second hadith, the great principle, that's why I spend a bit of time on it. Now, yalla, the ones who are online, mashallah, we've got 19, 20 people. But if you have any questions, put your hands up. Fadal.
In the during talaq, so during talaq, during the talaq process.
Yeah, during, you mean during?
Yeah.
During the talaq. When you say during, I don't understand the word.
Okay, so in the ruju',
Raja.
No, Raja. So the witness, can it be like not just official?
No, the witness is not gonna see you when you want to go back to your wife during the cooling period. Come here, see me when I'm kissing my wife. It's not like that. It's to say to the people, I have gone, just to send them a message. I have gone back. The witness is not for your wife, it's for yourself. So in case you change your mind, I've got two witnesses. So you send them a WhatsApp message, I've gone back to my wife. Can I just ask for power, please? It can be given to me. Share power. Because I'm losing the power. It's gonna close now. Help. Now, let's answer the question. Anybody here? تفضل يا الله خطيب.
What's the condition of the one who takes oath?
Huh?
What are the conditions of the one who takes oath?
What's the condition for what?
One who takes oath.
Taking oath?
Yeah.
The ones who takes oath. Makes the oath?
Yeah.
Himself make an oath?
Yeah.
Well, the oath to be made, though. The oath has to be from a person who's an adult, the person who is sane, the person who is as well a Muslim, because we don't take oath from non-Muslims. Now, but good character or no good character is not really there. Make it an oath. He's a Muslim. Different from the witness. Witness has to be just good character. طيب تفضل يا محمد عبد الغفور. Give him please permission.
Within my household, I've tried my best to
hang on a second, because I don't want to repeat the question, Ikhwan. Yeah, just hang on a second. It's going to be too much for me to repeat the question. So everybody can share with me the question. Go ahead.
Within my family, I've tried before to enjoin the good and forbid the evil, and a lot of the time, I feel like some problems have arise because of that. I wanted your advice. It may be the way I'm saying it, maybe, but I'm not sure. But some
What
so
type of
problems
problems arise? What type of they kicked you out of the
so
house?
no, nothing like that. So, for example, there was this one incident that happened recently where due to some issues, or my sorry, not issues, but something, my sister's traveling alone. So I suggested, well, maybe I could stay back because she should travel with a mahram. And um, one of my relatives was told about that, and um, he kind of thinks, oh, he said, oh, it's fine. She can travel. Why are you making things a problem or something like that? And it's not just because of this incident; it's because of previous incidents kind of
Okay.
coming together. And he
We're
said,
coming now more personal, but let me just tell
yeah,
you, each problem you have to treat it the way which it deserves. I cannot give you just one certain medicine for all of that. The cousin of yours should not be involved. You have more priority to your sister than his cousin. So his cousin out of the window. Sorry. Keep your opinion to yourself. I don't want my sister to go without mahram. Khalas, you have the right. And then you convince your sister in the right way. Convince your sister in the right way. I thought it was your father objecting, your mother. But the cousin is outside the loop, outside the circle. And you said to him, keep to your business, Akhi. Because the
sorry,
Prophet,
it's my brother.
you said your cousin. Didn't you say his cousin?
So I said relative. I should have been more specific. I said is my brother.
You said one of your relatives now is your brother. So is it older brother or younger brother?
Older brother.
Older brother. Oh, this is a conflict now. Older brother, you have to basically speak to him, tell him, show him the fatwa of the scholars, because he might show you a fatwa which is opposite to your fatwa. That's the problem. Fatwa market is a lot now. So show him the fatwa and show the fatwa to the sister. You've done your job. خلاص. ليس عليك هداهم. Now in this way we say, يا أيها الذين آمنوا عليكم أنفسكم لا يضركم من ضل إذا اهتديتم. O you who believe, keep to yourself. It is not harm you if somebody misguided, if you've been guided. I mean, after you've done your job in enjoying good and forbidding evil, it's not your job, akhi, to make sure that these people abide with your nasiha, advice. You've done your job. That man did he tell Marwan al-Hakam that the salah should be before the khutbah. He said this was before, and he did not listen to him. So Abdul Sayyid, he said, well, he had done his job. The man done his job. But Marwan al-Hakam insisted, and still that day, we have some people making the khutbah before the salah. Because the people, they don't sit for them. Because they're sick of them. That's why they don't sit for them, because they're sick of them. So they say, okay, we will make the khutbah so that you come into the prayer. You can't leave the prayer, make the khutbah before the prayer. Allah Ta'ala. طيب إخواني, the other question from Zak. Any questions here? سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك. جزاكم الله خيرا وبارك الله فيكم.